Hey guys, welcome to Request Build episode 5. This make was requested by Honza Balek, sorry for the pronunciation there, in the comments section below. If you would like to post a request for me to make something, you too can leave a comment below. Anyways, let's get into it. So this model is a Space Marine, and it's from Games Workshop's Warhammer 40,000, and if you haven't heard of that before, I advise you go check that out, because, yeah, it's kind of like their hallmark character of all characters that they have. Anyway, I thought this request was interesting. I haven't actually seen many good Space Marine prints out there. I've seen one good one that looked really cool, but it was only in one pose, and I wanted to make this multiple poses, so you could technically print off a little army if you really wanted to. So yeah, let's have a look at what I did. So I started off by modeling this in Maya, and I used the Knight model from a previous build as a basis for the arms and the legs. And that was just so I didn't have to model the hands from scratch, and the rest is all made from scratch anyway. So one of the biggest problems I had with this model was scaling. I based it off the standard Warhammer scaling, so bigger hands and bigger feet and bigger head, and that didn't really seem right. So I kind of just looked at the models from Dawn of War, and I based them more around that than I did the actual Games Workshop models. Ultimately, this didn't really pay off because when I printed it, I had some serious scaling issues. The guy was way too tall, and it just didn't look right. So I went back and I compared it to other models that I had on hand, and I just slowly tweaked it. And in the end, I came out with this. So if you compare the two, you can see the difference in height. It's quite extreme. I ended up using a friend's model to base the other one's height off, and I just slowly tweaked it into the right height. So this is an official model, and this is the 3D print. You can see that there's a bit of a height difference with this guy because he's standing up tall, but he's got his legs spread out. So if I get a different guy, here we go. You can see here that they're around the same height. I did make the shoulder pads a little bit larger than the normal models. With scaling issues aside, I think the model turned out really well. I printed around 12 and it took around 20 hours on the fine setting. So I did have another issue, was these guys right here. I'm gonna have to change the focus. So these guys here, they were running, and you can see they didn't print very well. I've just like slapped mud on them to make them look muddy, but the bottom of their foot didn't print. And that's because I used the tree supports, and they just didn't reach in there because of that base that I printed with it. So if I was to print this without the base, it probably would have printed fine, but I didn't want to risk it with 12 other models printing simultaneously. So I'm just going to end up adding a little bit of like stones to build up that height to connect to the base. Now, along with these Space Marines, I decided to add a hero unit or a librarian just because I really wanted to, and I thought the Space Marines were a bit plain. And it took around 12 hours to completely model and scale properly, and that's only because I was printing them and then checking the scale and then re-changing them and then printing them. And while that was happening, I decided to make myself a librarian, and I think he turned out really awesome. I think he turned out amazing, to be honest. He's got his little book, and I actually gave him like a little servo skull for a head. I thought it'd be a cool idea if a servo skull was like controlling a full guy. I don't know why, it just seemed funny to me, but it looks really cool. And if I just get different lighting here, there we go. He looks pretty awesome. And yeah, so all of these models will be available on Thingiverse, and the link will be in the description below. And you're more than welcome to paint them however scheme you want. And I'd really like to see what you do. If you end up printing these out, leave a make on the actual model, on the model link itself. And yeah, I'd love to share it on this here platform. If you'd like to support me on these projects, feel free to head over to Patreon and pledge a couple of dollars per video. These pledges will directly be supporting me in creating content for everyone. You'll also gain access to behind the scenes projects and updates. Along with these updates, you'll have access to models that I don't share on Thingiverse. I call these my experimental models, so you can test print things along with me. I will also be uploading solely unique models for patrons only. So if you're interested in supporting me more, I'd love to see you over there. Now before we conclude, it's make time. So these are my models made by you. Let's see what we have today. So these are the Iron Harvest Polonia Scout mechs, and Vale King Dead has remade them, and he's using them for his Russian army. So I think it looks pretty awesome. His paint job is really cool. I like the little addition of the star. And yeah, awesome work. I really love it. Keep it up. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe share it with a friend who you think might be interested. Thanks again, and I hope to see you around.